Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I'm your boy Bodkins, and of course, with me as always is Mr. Bobby Blunts. Bobby, we got a jam-packed show tonight. We're obviously going to talk about the results of UFC 328. We got the Netflix card as well. Plus, we got, I think, maybe the most intriguing matchup of the weekend in the UFC happening inside the glorious Apex with Arnold Allen versus Melky Costa. Can't wait to talk about that one, but we got to go back to Saturday, Bobby. Sean Strickland shocks the world another time. Lightning in a bottle, lightning strikes twice, whatever you want to call it. He gets the job done. Wins I think it was a unanimous decision, right? Or was it split decision?
Yeah, no, it was split.
A split decision. Bobby, I had it. I rewatched it live time. I had it 2-2 in going into the fifth, and I had Strickland winning the fifth. On the rewatch, I scored it the same way. Everybody was talking about this third round. I do think it was a close round, but both times I thought Sean Strickland won the third round. I had Hamzat 1, Strickland 2 and 3, Hamzat 4, Strickland 5. How did you score this very close main event on Saturday?
So, in real time, I first off, shout out to Sean Strickland, continuing to figure out how to get it done. Great performance.
Separated shoulder too. Today they came out and said.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that with the lack of the right he was throwing, but at the same time he figured out a way to get it done. In real time, I actually scored it for Chimaev. The swing round was obviously the third round. That was the biggest thing for me. And I knew in that round that Strickland definitely had more volume, and which is why he probably got it. But after Chimaev had his worst round in the second, I thought he bounced back pretty well, and that's really where he inflicted the most damage in busting up Strickland's nose. So in real time, I gave it to Chimaev. I'm really not sure if the main reason I also did that is because I'm just so used to these close decisions never going Strickland's way. I mean, he's lost a couple of them, the first Drickus fight, right, the Cannoneer. But at the same time, I was not upset at all that Strickland won. I mean, I think especially watching it back, the right guy probably won, but it was razor close. I do think it deserved to be a split decision. I'm not really sure the inconsistency with the fifth round scoring. That was probably one of the clearer rounds for Strickland for me there, where he kind of really put himself apart. But it was a very close fight, and I'm not sure if maybe the judges were thrown off a little that Chimaev was not walking through him, and that's why they had a little bit, confusing scores there. But at the end of the day, I thought the right guy won, but it was so close. I would not really have been upset either way if either guy did not get the nod. I mean, I think if anyone's calling this a robbery, you just do not like Sean Strickland, because I do not understand how, and this seems to be happening with so many fights, when it's a close fight that's literally a split decision and it goes the other guy's way and it's called a robbery. That's kind of insane to me. Like, this was a very close fight, and one guy was going to be on the wrong side of the scorecard. And I definitely think it was probably a better thing for the division for Strickland to win. But, now we're kind of set with the same setbacks and not knowing when he gets back there. But, all in all,
they said 8 months or so. So, I mean, he's probably, maybe you might catch him in December, but I think to me, he did the job, right? Like he fought twice this year. And I think for the most part, you're asking these top 5 guys to at least fight 2 to 3 times a year.
Yeah. And I mean, he did everything he was supposed to do. Chimaev instantly shot at the start of the fight, which we all kind of expected. But, Strickland made a point to like just really get back to the fence and do his best to get back up. Was
Right,
not
and he
really.
didn't take any damage. Like it was a control time, and Hamzat controlled the round, but Sean did a great job. Like that's what we expected, right? Like Sean will figure it out. Like this is, we talked about it last week. I said, I really think Sean, like I put money on Sean to win by decision. I said that's the only way he can win, and I could see a path of victory there for him. And if he could just not get drubbed in the first round or two, and he didn't. Like I actually had this conversation with somebody. I said the thing about Sean Strickland and even Ian Gary is they're not the most like off the charts athletic ability, or they don't do anything special, but they're some of the smartest fighters that there is. They're never going to put themselves in any sort of danger. They're too smart for that. And but they have to execute their game plan perfectly to win fights, especially against like top level guys like Hamzat. And Sean did that. Like they had the perfect game plan, and it worked to a T. I thought, I think Sean is super smart. Say what you want about him, all the off, the on the microphone, this and that. I don't ever care about that stuff. And that's kind of why I was just like, hey man, like this guy he's too smart to just go in there and get ragdolled by Hamzat. Like he learned, right? The one time he wasn't smart was the time we saw him get knocked out outside the dang octagon by Alex Pereira. He didn't go in there with the smartest game plan. And since then, he is even in his losses, has been smart.
Yeah, and that was kind of the worry is would that smartness not be able to get like enough offense off? But he at no point panicked in the fight. Like when he got taken down, he knew pretty much this was going to be here.
Right.
Let's not put myself in any dangerous choke positions and get back up. And I mean, like you said, that round for Chimaev was basically a control round. There was really, no worry of getting that done. And that second round,
that was Bobby. That was
bizarre.
the round. Yes, that was the round. I said, "Holy shit, Sean's going to win this." I really thought in the second round when Hamzat shot and then he just laid on his back. I said, "Holy shit, this is what Sean Strickland needs. He's going to win this fucking fight now." Because he needed to steal an early round, right? Like I thought maybe, eventually Hamzat kind of recovered after that. But I was like, holy shit, did he just quit? Like after he tried for the takedown, he kind of just laid on his back and was like, oh shit, like Sean's going to win this thing because it's like Hamzat just quit.
I thought at that point he was actually going to get him out of there because he looked so done. And it was kind of weird too, because you figured something like that would probably happen in the championship rounds or something.
The fourth, late third, fourth, fifth round, right.
But it was literally in round 2. And then, after, in between that round, Chimaev immediately took off his ankle bands in between rounds. And I think he was wearing those because he had some type of like ankle injury or something. So I'm not sure if that is what caused him to just pull guard or he was just that exhausted. But the shots were extremely telegraphed. And, we've kind of been wondering, like he has that elite, like, first shot and can almost get anyone down there. But when it comes to the finishing and being able to take advantage of those positions, I mean, with Whitaker, he basically broke his jaw in the choke. Like that's why that choke got off. But
right, and DDP just laid there. DDP did not really try. Just kind of was like accepted the position.
Yeah, he made the mistake of trying to use jiu-jitsu instead of just trying to do what Strickland did, which was get up. I mean,
right.
Anik even had the line in the beginning of Strickland saying that, jiu-jitsu does nothing in these scenarios. You need to just get up. And he is absolutely not wrong there. I mean, you can't stay down with him. So, I was very impressed, though, with how Chimaev bounced back from that third round, essentially in the striking. He abandoned the takedowns there. And I did think, even though Strickland had the volume, that was one of his more better rounds when he was really looking like on death's doorstep the round before.
It was interesting because he didn't shoot for a takedown in round 3. Really didn't shoot for the 5th. He tried and didn't succeed. And I thought maybe I was nervous there because I was like, well, if Hamzat gets the takedown here in the 5th, that he could maybe win this thing. But Sean did an excellent job of not getting of not letting him take him down. But I was right there with you. Like, I was impressed by Hamzat's resolve after the second, where he looked dead in the water, and for him to bounce back and kind of have a good third and then even win the 4th round was kind of surprising to me, and mainly on the feet.
Yeah, he did make that conscious decision to he got that shot off in the 4th, which basically sealed it for him. Because at that point, it didn't seem like Strickland was really expecting it, because, they went the whole round just standing. So, the 4th round, was pretty clear for Chimaev. So, in real time, I scored it 1st round for Chimaev, 3rd round for Chimaev, 4th round for Chimaev, and gave Strickland 2 and 5. But I acknowledge that 3rd round was razor close and could go either way. And, upon the rewatch, I definitely understand why Strickland got the round, because the volume. The most damaging shot that I saw Strickland take was more of a slip with him stepping back. But Chimaev definitely busted up his nose. But
yeah,
at the same time, that's exactly where Strickland wanted to be. Strickland knew, if you're just going to stand and trade with me, I'm definitely going to win this by decision eventually. And that's what ended up happening. So, Sean fought the perfect fight. It was great corner work from Nixick. They definitely seemed way more on the same page compared to, the Drickish fight and stuff. And, obviously they had the bounce back fluffy performance. So, the corner was communicating with him on all sides. And, Chimaev's corner did not necessarily seem that panicked after that 2nd round. They were just trying to calm him down, tell him to relax. I obviously have to take those translations with a grain of salt, because I don't know how much of it's actually coming through. But, they didn't really look panicked. And, if Chimaev got his hand raised with it, I would have had the same attitude. I would not have thought it was a robbery. It was that narrowly close.
Yeah, and, agreed. I didn't think it was a robbery either way, and either one could have won. I thought Strickland won when it was going to the cards, the way my scorecard was. But I wasn't. If they would have gave it to Chimaev, I would not have been surprised. And obviously, one judge did.
Those 4-1 Chimaev cards are so delusional. I'm assuming it's just insane rage bait, but I saw a lot of other people that are fans of him who I respect their opinion a lot, and they acknowledge pretty much the 2-2 going into the 5th. But so you're kind of always gonna have to grade those things on a curve. So why I don't even really looking at it. But even a judge giving Chimaev the round in the 5th, I guess they just saw that because of grappling. But
we'll get to the Waldo Costa fight too. The judges in that were that was off to me, but we'll get to that here in a second. I messaged you on Friday and I asked you, are you concerned about Hamzat's weight? Because there's people who don't even think he made weight. According to his brother, they had to stop at one point cutting weight. He didn't look great on the scale. And it's been reported that he was pretty beefy. Was supposed to fight at 205 for the interim title. Then that never really happened, and now he had to cut too much weight to get to 185. Your thoughts on that? And then just kind of is a rematch next for Hamzat as well, or where does he go from here? Because now he's got his first loss.
Yeah, it's You know, in real time, I really downplayed him looking drained on the scale and stuff.
Yeah, you
I
did. You
thought,
said I don't think you told me it's not a
yeah,
thing.
well, he just looked very similar to how I've seen him, and everyone tripping about the scale tilting. I mean, if you're gonna apply that, you have to literally apply it to every other fighter on the card, which the thing basically did. So I'm not really in the opinion that he did not make weight. I
I'm not in
understand.
an opinion. Yeah.
I get why Strickland in his camp was vocal about it, because that would essentially be 30% of Chimaev's purse going to Strickland. You know, I knew it wouldn't be a
And the
scenario
title
where the
vacant at that point in time. Like Charles, remember what that happened to Charles in the Charles Justin Gaethje fight?
yeah, and so yeah, I understand why it's like warranting the criticism and stuff like that, but you know, basically with that performance, that second round, whether he was overtrained or it was the weight cut, maybe a combination of both. But that is why I'm just kind of assuming, like, I don't think we see him till 27 at minimum.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if we saw him again. I mean, I know there was that announcement of him competing in RAF. That's obviously a whole
Against
different
Dylan
thing.
Dennis, so don't hold your breath.
Yeah. But I don't know. In real time, I thought the best thing to do for him was to go up to 205, just because they were talking about how he put on the size already and it was hard to get down. Dana literally said the first thing Chimaev said to him is that he wanted to go back up to 205. I'm not sure if he got wind that he was going to have to take another fight at 205 if he wanted to compete for the title. So maybe that's why all of a sudden now it's the most important fight he wants to get back is the Strickland fight. I'm kind of mixed on it. I mean, especially seeing how he was drained in that second round. I just think the better thing for his career long term would be to make that movement up to 205.
I don't think there's a lot of the. I don't think he deserves an immediate rematch. First of all, I don't think so. Do you think immediate rematch? Like whether
it's tough because the only reason I would say yes to the immediate rematch is they did the exact same thing with Strickland and Drickus.
No,
and
Sean had to fight Paulo Costa.
It was that close. Yeah, they did make him fight Paulo, but wasn't that also because Drickus was injured and he wasn't ready?
No. Drickus fought Izzy. Remember, it was in between that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you know, even though it was a close enough fight, I would prefer, like, if we're talking rematches either way, I'd prefer the Nasruddin Imavov rematch.
Yeah, against Sean. I think Imanov's next. I think we're in agreement there. That's why I didn't even ask. I think we're both there. For Hamzat, for me, I don't really like his chances at 205. I just think those guys are too big. And I like him better at 185. And I still think, like, while he can't, I don't agree that he deserves immediate rematch. But I believe, like, he could just win two more or one more and be right back in there, especially if it's Sean Strickland next.
If it's another fight at 185 for him, I think I would prefer them to match Chimaev up with Fluffy Hernandez.
Yeah. That'd be
we kind of have unanswered questions about both their gas tanks after their last performances. So, and I just think that would be a really good fight. But, you know,
if he does move up to 205, just do him and Pablo. I mean, that's the fight that they were going to make at 185 a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And they've been Pablo's obviously has been wanting this fight since before that and since then.
Yeah, that's definitely the easy button. you know, I, in talking it out, I think I would kind of prefer to see him stay at 185 because I do acknowledge there are some fights that would be compelling at 205, and he probably could get himself in contention to win the title. But it would just kind of have to be done right with him going up. I don't think it should be like some immediate thing he does.
They didn't do it with Alex, right? Remember when Alex lost? He had to fight one, then got the title, and even then still had to have some things break his way.
The one thought of why I think they do it, the immediate rematch, is just the numbers the fight did. I don't think enough.
Does it get the same numbers, though, after the squash beef?
I think so. Because for one, I think that is being woefully overstated and people are just trying to like farm clicks. I mean, when those guys like fight for 20 plus minutes like that, I'm aware they fought for 25, but there really wasn't any damage in the first. There's going to be a respect at the end of the day.
Right.
And I like how Nasruddin is saying the opposite. So like, that's why that rematch would be a little bit more compelling than them doing Chimaev right off the bat. I don't know, like over under 2.5 fights left in Chimaev's career. What would you take?
2.5? I'd take the under.
Yeah, it's I thought we were really over worrying about his past sicknesses and the cardio after the Robert Whittaker fight. Like he really looked like kind of old Chimaev, but then we saw some remnants of that Gilbert Burns fight again. So I think Sean definitely put the blueprint out there for a lot of people. So it's going to be very interesting to see where they match him up next.
Yeah, let's move to the co-main. Was very exciting too. And Bobby, I thought it was very close going into the fifth as well. We did not need the scorecards. I thought it was a little bit early stoppage. To me, I mean, maybe I did have a slight bet on it going the distance, so maybe that's probably why I think that. But even on the rewatch, when I already knew I wasn't going to win any money, I thought Taitora was still moving, and while he took the body shot and the head shot, he took him worse shots in that fight. I felt like, and they didn't stop it, so why stop it there? But nonetheless, Josh Van gets him out of there and wins.
Yeah, I had absolutely no problem with the stoppage for a few reasons. One, the ref that was reffing that fight, blanking on his name, but he used to be a fighter. And like, I wish he could referee every title fight. He is in that third round when Van had Tyra hurt and he was really working him. He was right up on him, watching him, waiting to see. And
yeah, he didn't stop it then when Van really kind of almost put him out.
Yeah, because he was kind of comfortable where he is. So he was watching him that entire time. And then watching him then again take that damage in moving back, I think all he did was save him extra brain damage. And I actually thought it was a perfect stoppage in real time. And I felt the same way on rewatch. However, I am a fucking Joshua Van stan. So, I mean, you bet on it by decision, and I probably have my own bias.
Yeah.
So, but I really did not hate that stoppage at all. Like, when I saw that he was the referee, I was like, let's fucking go. Like, this is exactly the perfect guy for this co-main event. I know he missed the illegal strike, but I mean, those flyweights move so fucking fast. It's hard to catch some of that in real time.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that they're using the old fucking commission rules too, either in Jersey. Man, that fight was so good. Taitora, I mean, what an absolute dog he was. Even after getting knocked down, I think in the third and then in the fourth got a takedown. And so I almost, like I said, I think I kind of had it 2-2 going into the fifth. Almost, I thought maybe it was going to be another close, decision. But again, Van was just so good with his boxing, and he's so quick and he's so fast. And he was able to get up and get out of when he got taken down pretty well, and almost did get. He even admitted like he probably shouldn't have went for the choke in the third and just got Taitora out of there, by punches. And he probably, has
He
early
would have.
night.
He for sure would have. Especially like seeing that on rewatch.
Yeah.
I was like, my anxiety went through the roof when I saw that live because I was like, oh my fucking God, we engaged in the grappling. That is not gonna end good.
Yeah.
And but I completely understand why he did it too, because
Right.
he was like really trying to prove the point and stuff.
I don't think, even though Taitora lost, I don't think his stock did not depreciate. These guys will probably run this back here in a few years. You can give Taitora somebody else at the top of the him and Horiguchi it's still right there. I know Horiguchi's got a fight against Manel Cape coming up, but he could get the winner of that.
Yeah, I mean, I still believe he will eventually be a UFC flyweight champion. He is very good, very young, and he wasn't out of his elements with the striking. He figured out a way to like fight his way back. In the first round when he took Van down, like he was taking him down, and immediately he was in very good positions. And but very similar to Strickland, like Van did not really panic, and he was doing all the defensive things to kind of get back to the cage and get back up on his feet. And I think that first round was a real confidence booster for him when he got taken down and kind of showed him his best as far as the control with the grappling, and he was still in the fight. And his hands just really opened up after that. You saw he felt a lot more confident. He really seemed to make it a point to still throw no kicks, and that front foot was very, taking a lot of like kicks and stuff as well from Tyra. So that was, I mean, for me, that's fight of the year. Narrowly. I put it over Hook It and Blades, which it currently is. But I mean, they're kind of neck and neck. But especially
the one that gives it the edge is because you got 2 more extra rounds.
Yeah, and I think it's also my love for flyweight compared to heavyweight, even though that was a great heavyweight fight.
Right.
But I had Van a little bit more ahead in the fight, but I understand the 2-2 completely. That's probably a lot more valid. And I mean,
if you would have, I think maybe round 2 is you could have maybe said that was a 10-8 round, or round 3 was like 10-8 or something like that. If maybe.
Yeah. And it's weird with how they dull out like the 10-8s and stuff now. But I mean, he definitely hit him with a lot of damage.
He did.
And Tyra is just so tough too. I mean, there was not a moment that he was quitting in that fight. Like he even came back and won a round after it looked like he was going to be out. So I mean, he's just in great condition. Being able to bounce.
That's why I thought it was early. I thought that's kind of part of the reason I thought it was a little bit early stoppage, because he'd already weathered the worst of the storm in round 3 and bounced back in round 4. So like that's kind of why I was like, hold up, man. Like Kai was still kind of moving, you know what I mean? In the 5th round when he stopped it, like he was kind of up against the cage, but he was moving to his right a little bit. I mean, he took the body shot and kind of had his head down and took one to the dome, but he was still kind of moving. That's my reason for what I felt maybe it was an early stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why you think that. I just, I think the only thing the stopping presented was Tyra saving some brain cells. Because
I get it.
At that point, I did not think there was because there were so many moments where he was that close to stopping it. I don't want to like treat it like a 3 knockdown rule in boxing or something, but he was just. But I get the argument, like considering it was in the 5th round and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off of. I would much prefer stoppages like that when there is that much damage.
Yeah. I get it. Do you feel more of a Van would be the favorite when they do match up him and Pantoja, which will probably be later this year?
I think it will be a pick'em. Pantoja will probably be a slight favorite, I would think. You know, I would say this gives me a lot more confidence in the Pantoja fight.
Same.
But I think that's a little disingenuous by me because I was already picking Van to beat Pantoja. I mean, to me, this is just another coming out party for, Joshua Van. Like, there are people literally picking against him because
he was a dog. He was a dog on this card.
And people were picking against him because of how he celebrated a freak thing with the title, which he wasn't even expecting. Like, how that has anything to do with how the fight would go is just pretty stupid to me. But I was just very grateful that he could have this moment, because you definitely saw how he celebrated this time. It meant a hell of a lot more to him with it being an actual fight going back and forth. And it almost, like, to me, looked like he won the title for the first time again. With the celebration.
I can't wait to see him and Pantoja. That's the fight that I probably reaching number 1 right now. Is the fight I want to see the most.
Well, especially because it's a fight we want to see the most that we know we're definitely getting. It's not like these other ones that we have on the board. Like, we absolutely need to see this. They absolutely probably will not give it to us. So it's in its own tier of, we know we're getting this. And I know Van got a medical suspension. I hope everything does get right with his knee, but I would imagine that would be kind of penciled in at the latest for like a December event.
November, December. Yeah. I'm good with that. Give me that. Give me that at MSG, baby.
To me, I think it would be a good co-main event for sure for a double title fight card. The selfishness part of me really hopes it's the main event. I definitely think that fight should be built with the respect as the main title fight, especially with how those guys can give a performance. And that was like my main takeaway in that Tyra fight was, we really got robbed of a generational fight a few months back when Pantoja broke his arm.
I mean, hopefully we'll be able to see that this year. I think we will. It's going to be a good one. Let's move to the third fight there, and it was Volkov. I had Volkov winning, but Jesus, one ref had it. One judge had it Volkov all 3 rounds, and there's no way that I thought Costa won the third one clearly. Like there was one clear round that somebody won. It was the third round to the Salsa Boy, and the other 2 rounds were close, and I scored them for Volkov.
Yeah, I disagreed with the judges a lot on this thing, apparently. I grant the first round is extremely hard to score, and it could go either way. But in real time, I had 1 and 3 for Volkov.
You mean 1 and 3?
1 and 3 for Salsa Boy. Yeah. 1 and 3 for Salsa Boy. But again, it was that close of a fight. I understand why they gave it the decision. I cannot call robbery on that. Waldo is definitely having issue getting to Volkov in that first round.
Right. Tough, close to the distance. Yeah.
Another great win for Volkov. He obviously, everything with heavyweight is extremely murky, but he just made more of a point of why he should be fighting Alex Pereira for the interim title and not Cyril Gane. But what are we going to do? So I don't know, especially with Tom, there's the holdup. I don't know how he can justify fighting again without getting a title shot. But at the same time, I don't think he should sit out like a year, which
So
literally
I
might
think
be.
this is what I think is going to happen. If Hokit beats Blades, they do Hokit Volkov, um, and
You
they
mean if
fight.
Hokit beats Derek Lewis? If
Yeah,
he
I
beat,
said Blades. Yeah, if
yeah.
Hokit beats Lewis at the White House, then you do Hokit Volkov, and that'll kind of clear up some things while the you get Tom and the Alex Gone winner, and then that'll line up. Then the Hokit Volkov would be right there.
But if you're Volkov, why would you take that fight?
You're gonna have to do something, or else you're gonna be waiting for a while.
Yeah, and I guess that's just like what I'm kind of wondering, like if he's willing to sit out or if he's gonna want to take the fight. Because I mean, he's obviously done more than enough, but realistically, like, yeah, if Tom comes back in this calendar year, he would probably have to take another fight. And you don't really. I would absolutely be sold on that fight. I think that'd be a great fight. I just wonder if he, because they claim that they're going to do him a favor and they reward.
They've done him no favors.
Well, they kind of reward him in the aspect of he took another huge name that was really on his own heavyweight run. So, but what's that going to get him if they're literally just asking him to do the same thing again?
Right.
So that, yeah, he's kind of put in an interesting spot, but it's just kind of how the division is. I wonder if he's going to be the backup if anything happens, or if they'll just pull Hokit.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't want to put that shit out into the universe. Yeah. So, but yeah, and like for Waldo, I don't think his stock drops at all in that fight. Like, I don't even think he moved down in the rankings. Kind of an indictment on heavyweight, if you ask me. But, I'm just as interested to see his fights, too. So, like, it was a bizarre result because I don't know what it does for either guy. But, entertaining fight to get us to the co-main there.
Yeah. And then the Brady Buckley fight, that was just big brother beating the shit out of little brother for 3 straight rounds. I think all 3, you could have, I think one judge did score 10-8, 3 10-8s, was it not?
I had it 30-24. I literally all 3 rounds I scored a 10-8. Yes, the damn, like that was and the more bizarre part about that fight was the pre-line movement. Like Buckley moved to the favorite, and we kind of went with the, is he injured? Is there some irregular betting shit? But people lost a lot of money in that fight, like switching to Buckley and the thing. And honestly, it pretty much played out exactly how we expected to if Buckley couldn't do anything flashy, to Brady's chin. And the amount of times Buckley was just flat on his back, I like Buckley. He's been doing a lot of work, but I don't see how you can rank him in the top 10 right now when you literally can not deal with that position. And, I don't know what the UFC does with him next. Like, imagine if they give him Yaroslav after that fight.
Yeah.
An equally dangerous wrestler. Like, it would go the exact same way. So
I think you do like him or MVP. Buckley's still at 9 on the rankings right now. Or do you do like him and JDM would be a good one. Or Leon. Like those, there's some like strikers out there in the welterweight division that he would be.
Both of those would be fun. And I'd much more favor matchmaking like that than giving him another wrestler when, it's kind of clear. And, to his credit, he never quit in the fight. but he could like when he got down, you knew he was never getting up.
And there was never really any offense. Like he would try to kick, right? And then Brady would just throw his ass right down to the ground.
Yeah. And, very frustrating performance for Buckley. Perfect bounce back for Brady, though. Like, that's precisely what he needed.
A huge bounce back for Brady. He's asking, hey, get me in the damn top 5. But, he's still not. You have Islam, Ian 1, Prates 2, Morales 3, JDM 4, Bilal 5. I mean, he wants to find that Philly card. Do you just do him in the Bilal rematch?
I think you do him and Usman. I don't know if Usman is booked, so take this with a grain of salt, because there's that card that's like by you in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And Ali was tweeting like a fucking phone. It's kind of pathetic that I'm actually like following what Ali says, but the only fighter that would make sense for a non-number card would be Usman. So like, are they gonna do Usman versus Michael Morales or something? I'm sure you would be going to that, but so yeah, like I really don't know what you do for Brady. Personally for me, like I know he's ranked nowhere near as high, but like Yaroslav's performance against Joel Alvarez, he needs to be fighting someone in the top 5.
Yeah.
And I think Brady right out of that, like their styles, like I think Brady would nullify his
I want to get Brady though, like back towards the top. I mean, he says that Morales thing is a fluke. Does he maybe want to just run that back? I don't know if I'm Morales if I want to do that.
I don't think Brady wants to do that. Like, so I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think they would book him against JDM.
No, I want JDM to fight a striker. He deserves a striker after fucking.
You could sell me on the Bilal rematch for sure, depending on what happens with Bilal in 2 weeks.
He's got who's Bilal fighting in 2 weeks?
Bonfim.
Oh yeah.
And that's going to be that's a stacked fucking Apex event. Yeah. They got a lot of people on that. But like Brady made it a point pretty much saying, I want to fight someone in the top 5 or I want to fight Usman. So that's why I think the Usman matchmaking just makes a little bit
do they do that? That could be a co-main in Philly.
Easily.
That's you do Ian Islam, and then you do Brady Usman.
I definitely think that is his main goal, is to try to get on that card. So knowing that kind of target date, that's kind of like with the names I'm going with. Like you might be able to do Usman. I do not think they would do the Morales thing. He's already choked out Leon. You don't really see the JDM thing. I don't think they would do Morales either.
You don't think Prates either?
That's why, Prates. I would love it for the aspect of like a title eliminator, but I think if Prates is fighting anyone, it should probably be Morales.
That's same. That's the fight I want to see the most. So.
Yeah. And so I don't know, like, especially like with not the very quick turnaround, but like how he wants to get back on that Philly card. I do think it makes the most sense with Brady and Usman. Also because Ali's main guy is probably most likely going to headline that card. So, Ali can get a double check there. It makes too much sense.
Yeah. King Green gets the job done. Again, you mentioned Yursov Amanov. I mean, sub in the second round. This is a guy that folks, hey, he was a former Bellator champion, and this is a guy that's gonna make some waves here in the next year or so, Bobby. I think eventually, fighting for a title.
He's absolutely going to be a problem for that division, which is extremely stacked. But, I kind of more or less thought that fight would go that way because he's just so much better at grappling than Alvarez. And, Alvarez can definitely bounce back from that. But I definitely want him fighting someone ranked no lower than 10.
Well, he's 10. He's 10.
Okay, good job fucking rankings for once. Like, that is where he should be. Give him a top 5 opponent.
That's the killers up there.
Yeah, but that is legitimately who he should be fighting.
And he's probably, so if you do Usman Brady, man, the guys ahead of him are Bilal, JDM, Morales, Prates, and Ian. He can get the winner of Bilal versus Bonfim.
Yeah, him and Bilal would be very interesting because Bilal has very good takedown defense. So I think that would be a fun fight. I would probably narrowly favor Bilal in that, assuming it would probably be 3 round. But then again, something like that, we kind of hope they would give us 5. Yeah, it's weird because, we're on we don't want to see JDM get a wrestler because, that would be another name. You kind of feel the same way about Leon and stuff. And that's why I'm saying he needs to fight a top 5 guy because I think 9 through 6, he would probably beat pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
And again, that is the other reason I was kind of suggesting him versus Brady. I think that is equally interesting for their skill sets. But it's time to get this guy on the fucking main card of numbered events or have him headline at the Apex.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Real quick, got to shout out my dog on the card. Jim fucking Miller had a win. Atib Gutierrez wins by knockout again. Do you continue the slow roll with Atib, or do you finally say, hey, let's give this guy somebody, maybe a step up here in competition?
Depends what you consider the step up at. Like, can you give me a range of the step up?
I'm looking at middleweight here. Roman Dolidze is 15. Paulo Costa still ranked 14 somehow. That doesn't make any sense, but
like I was thinking, like, where's Marvin Vettori at?
Not ranked, and he has a fight booked. They just got booked.
Yeah, so Baku. I'm thinking like Marvin Vettori level kind of. The Dolidze, you could probably sell me on that, but that might be a little bit too soon. Like I might need to see one more on it. It's just I do not know how he's going to do with someone that's well-rounded and that could really slow down the fight and extend it. But who's below Dolidze, you said?
That Dolidze is 15.
And who's 14?
Paulo Costa somehow still ranked at 14.
Yeah, well, let's take him out. That is just stupid.
Why are you telling me? Tell the rankings. I'm not the fucking AI guy that's doing the rankings.
Okay. In the future, point out that he's there, but don't pose to me that he's in there because he's not. Like, I think he needs one more guy that isn't ranked before we have him get that.
Somebody that like 16 to 20 range, like if there's 20 rankings.
I'd prefer that's kind of why I led with Marvin Vettori.
Yeah,
I even like suggested that on Spaces, and people are like, "Are you kidding me? That's way too much of a step up." So like, I'm being a little bit more generous than what a lot of people are seeing. So I'd say at least give him one more. There's no reason to let the guy learn.
Yeah. I'm looking at like Tapology at their their middle weight rankings. Like they got Ikram Alskarov. He's right there as well.
Is Shara Bullet booked for a fight?
Yeah, he just got booked.
Okay.
He called out Izzy, which I don't think that's
okay. Thank you for reminding me of that, because I was suggesting on Spaces like, hey, let's give him Marvin Vettori, and I got chastised for that. And 2 seconds later, he called out Adesanya, and I'm like, hey guys, like apparently he seems to want to fight way up there. And yeah, that is, I don't care how many times Izzy have been finished. Let's wait on that. But then again, he probably just sees that, Izzy has struggled with those power shots and figure he has a good chance to do it. But that would indicate that he's like really trying to get leapfrogged into the rankings. And I think that might be a little bit too soon.
Yeah, agreed. I don't want to see that. Bobby, let's you got any last final thoughts on UFC 328 before we look into this weekend?
328, I have no final thoughts. The other fights on Saturday, I'll touch on for final thoughts.
Okay.
Last Saturday, I mean.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. You got any final thoughts on last Saturday's card?
The UFC card, no, but there are other fights last Saturday.
Oh, like the boxing and stuff. Yeah.
Boxing and Rising.
I got you. All right. Yeah, let's move into the first ever MMA event on Netflix, Bobby, headlined by none other than Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey. Bobby, my son is 16 years old, and he has never seen Gina Carano step into an octagon, because the last time Gina Carano fought was 2009. So that shows you how long ago it was.
I knew you were going to pull out some stat, and I loved how it's your son not being born yet. That really shows us where we are. And
the kid is driving, Bobby, and it's not never fought in the octagon.
And I mean, Rousey hasn't fought since 2016.
Right.
How old was your son then?
2016. Yeah, he's 6.
Yeah, so
because he's 8. He was born in 2010. So yeah.
Yeah. So and okay. So obviously not like the fight we would have picked for this event, but I've also, when you look at like what Netflix is trying to do with this big event, track the most eyeballs and audience, this makes kind of perfect sense for that model, even if it's not a fight that me and you like. The best way I can compare it is like comparing it to last weekend. I was losing sleep thinking about the main event and the co-main event and like the implications it would have for the division and all that. This weekend is just a fun time, and I'm gonna just do my best to enjoy it. I really have no expectations for it. I'm more curious how the event will look. We've gotten a few of these Netflix boxing cards already, so I think I kind of already know. But, they definitely did their homework building up the undercard and stuff to give everyone like you and me that really doesn't think much of the main event something to still kind of watch and worth tuning into to the entire thing. So they definitely did a good job of building the who's who of people that have big names that are not signed to the UFC, bringing in Nate and Francis. So overall, for the first event that MVP was clearly contracted out by Netflix to bring in all these people, I would say they've built it successfully to give that kind of big name buzz, even if it's something I'm not like, holy shit, I need to get to Saturday because I can't wait to watch this sort of thing, if that makes sense.
No, agreed. It's like a WrestleMania type thing, right? Like there's not really any like real life implications or like, you know what I mean? Like it's not, it's going to be entertainment, but nothing like what makes the UFC and why, to me, Saturday's main event in the UFC, Arnold Allen versus Melky Costa is more important because like who wins that fight is going to advance in MMA. Like they're going to advance in like, hey, especially if Costa wins, it's like, okay, now he's a top 5 guy in the featherweight. We got to keep our eye on him, and see if he's going to fight for the title in the near future. If Ronda Rousey or Gina Carano wins on Saturday, they win. And then what? Nothing, right? We just fucking wake up on Sunday and there's just like, oh, they win, but what's next for them? Nothing. There's nothing left for them. Like there's nothing. And you could say that about all I think Francis, if Francis wins, okay, maybe what's next? Does he go back to I don't know everything he's ever going to go back to the UFC, but you could ask like kind of what's next. Hell, if Lins pulls off the fucking upset, Jesus, I mean, it'll be a million questions on what's next for him. Same thing for Nate and Mike Perry. I think Nate has a lot more to lose if in that fight than Mike does. If Nate loses to Mike Perry in MMA, I don't think a UFC return is ever going to happen.
I don't think they really care anymore.
They just want the name?
Yeah, well, because especially like it would solely be to do the Conor fight that they've been bringing him back. And it's also kind of bizarre too, because there was, people saying that there was a good chance they were going to announce Conor's return over the weekend. That never came. And then you wonder, I don't think this would be the most likely thing by any means, but you wonder if the UFC is waiting to see the results of Saturday night to kind of build off like that Nate Diaz win and trying to pair it with Conor's comeback. I think that's probably very unlikely. Like I would put that at like under 10%. But I do think, wonder if it's more just Conor being difficult why that didn't get announced, or if they're holding back to be like, hey, we might be able to build some momentum off this, and this makes a little bit more sense than booking him versus Max Holloway.
If you're the UFC, you book Conor and you announce it this Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
You do it this Saturday, because what's more people going to talk about after that?
Damn, that's a good shout. Like they might literally be holding back that. Like it that would make me believe that it's Max Conor, because they would already have it done. And like it would be so ironic, instead of announcing it on their bigger broadcast, like their biggest number card of the year, they choose to announce it on the Apex just to throw shade at the Netflix thing. It'd be kind of funny.
But what's social media going to be talking about? They're going to talk more about Conor than this, right? Conor still moves the numbers here, later.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And especially too, it also kind of puts pressure on them for the Conor side too, because you're like wondering how that's going to get done. He sees this Netflix event this weekend, and he could be headlining it.
Yeah.
But obviously he's got those 2 fights left. I've always, and we'll get back to the Netflix thing right after this, but I've always assumed that his negotiation was to try to throw out that second fight and just try to have one more fight, to where I think the UFC is trying to extend him, and that's the holdup.
Oh yeah, but, I'd agree with that.
Are we gonna, for the Netflix card, do we want to talk about what we like on the undercard? Do we want to just go through the main 3, or
we'll just do the main I guess 5, I guess, at the top here. I was a little sad that what's his name on the undercard he couldn't get a visa.
Yeah, it's a real bummer, and I would also say a blunder on Netflix's part. Like that is totally on them. They're the ones that handle that shit.
Makayev, that's who it was.
Mohammed Makayev. I will say the replacement is from Aljo and Marab's camp. He's also very good, so it's kind of bittersweet, because that's still a very compelling fight. But for only one thing to fall off, I guess they've been pretty lucky with this big event staying intact.
Yeah, so let's just kind of look at that. I guess really that big three real quick. I got Ronda winning. I think she probably gets it done. Somewhere in probably the second round or so.
Yeah. Real quick, just want to give a shout out to the Saladin Parnas Kenneth Cross fight. Like that's probably like one of the more interesting ones on the card for me. Like that's one I'll make sure I'll have my full undivided attention to. But are we doing the Rousey fight first?
Yeah. We'll just go top to bottom real quick.
Okay. I think either way this fight goes around. We're gonna either get Ronda being able to get her a takedown and getting an early sub, or Gina is able to evade that, keep it on the feet. Ronda's not gonna like the striking, and Carano will put her away. I don't see. Maybe this could be a back and forth 5-round fight, but just with the layoff with both of them, I think it's very unrealistic.
That's why I like what you're saying. I think it's the second round, though. I think the first round is going to be that feeling out process for both of them.
Yeah, it very well could too, because obviously Rousey, when she used to get those finishes early, she was still competing and stuff. So there really isn't going to be any of that live ring rust or anything. So yeah, I could see it probably extending to 2 if we get a feel out round, but it really wouldn't shock me if we like. The reason I think they put Francis and then Nate on there is they wanted to guarantee they had some other fights, because they did not expect this to go that long.
I don't expect the Francis fight to go that long.
I don't think we'll need championship rounds for any of these fights.
I disagree. I think the Nate and Mike Perry fight, the Diaz Perry fight, I think it goes all 5 rounds.
Oh yeah, my bad. I was referring to the top 2 there.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that I think
so. Who you picking? Carano or Rousey? I'm picking Rousey. I'm picking Ronda. Ronda gets it done. You picking one geriatric woman, or you picking the other geriatric woman?
Ronda probably gets it done, but considering I have never normally I'm a little nervous when I make picks because I'm worried about getting it wrong, and I could really give a flying shit if I'm wrong about this. It just means very little to me, and I'm banking on Gina Carano being able to extend the fight and her being able to finish Ronda Rousey. I think the only way that happens is if obviously she's able to nullify the takedown and be on top. I understand why Ronda is an insane favorite on it, because like you said, Gina hasn't fought since 2009.
Ronda hasn't had a win since 2015, so neither one of them have won, this decade.
Yeah, I mean, give me the chaos and give me the bigger story. I'll take Gina. I just think it would mean so much more if she won, because it would actually feel more like a comeback. Maybe we could ask what's next for her, where we know, win or lose, this is Rousey's last fight. So
yeah, probably so. I think it's both their last fight. And I hate the fact that Ronda's everybody, this is the fight we always wanted to see. No, the fuck we didn't. The only fight we ever wanted to see was you and fucking Cyborg, and we're not getting that.
Believe it or not, the promotion of this fight made me appreciate the UFC's promotional tactics a lot more, because sometimes it's not always good to have the fighters in the main event sell the fight. Because, to be honest, the main thing that kept me from going to see this live was they did not sell me on it at all. It was just
we're just two friends, 2 old fucks trying to have some.
Well, I don't even care about that, but just the anti-Hunter Campbell thing just came so bizarre. And trust me, this is no one defending Hunter, but it's are you selling me a fight, or are you just trying to shit on the UFC because you're hoping to pull that market. And
yeah,
I think they could have
they're doing the
done
Jake Paul. They're doing the Jake Paul playbook.
Yeah, and it just feels so fucking disingenuous coming from Ronda Rousey. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, she's like saying like, my mom's on the athletic commission for California, and that's why they got power slapped involved, and Hunter's trying to do this. It's like, yeah, Rhonda, we know your mother's on the athletic commission for California. That's probably the only reason this fight is sanctioned. So
right.
right. I'm just gonna appreciate it for what it is. It's great that she's coming back. I'm glad she got the big bag. Good
right.
for her. She should have bid this elsewhere and gotten the most money for it. And to Dana's credit, like, they've tried to set him up to shit on it. He's gone out of his way not to. Said he loves them both and hopes it goes well.
Yeah. I think we're both in agreement. Ngannou probably knocks out Lins in the first round.
I'm not sure about the first round just because he's also been out of there for a while.
Maybe not the first round, but he's getting knocked the fuck out.
Felipe is 40, so he is on a 4-fight winning streak, though. I know it doesn't like have the name value that's gonna attract people. Like Francis will like be considered more the A side, but I do think Felipe is good enough to figure out ways to extend this fight, but I would still expect Francis to figure out how to get it done. I don't think he's gonna go like this. To me, is far more interesting than the Ferreira fight.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just wonder how long it's going to take Francis to get back into his groove. Maybe Felipe can use his activity against him. But yeah, more than likely, I think Francis gets it done.
Yeah. In the fight, I think we both want to. I want to see at least the best fight on this card to me is the Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry fight. I think this goes all 5 rounds. Both tough as nails. Both will probably be cut up and bleeding. But your thoughts here?
I mean, this is obviously a well-placed choice. I like the opponent for Nate. I'm thankful to see Nate back in MMA, opposed to boxing. And, I think it's going to be fun for how long ever it lasts, and I would kind of expect it to last the entire time. I am kind of interested to see Perry getting back into MMA with him doing the bare knuckle boxing and boxing.
Right.
Is Nate going to have a little bit of advantage of that? And that's really for grappling or anything like that, but just being able to use kicks and all that and figuring out the distance, like, will that throw him off? But I think this fight has the best chance of delivering for what we think it's going to be, So
Mike Perry hasn't fought in MMA since 2021.
Yeah, that's a cool minute.
Yeah, he lost a unanimous decision to D-Rod.
Wow. So wild. That it feels like yesterday, but it really wasn't. But yeah, I mean, Diaz has looked like incredible shape. Really hard to tell if that's real or not, though. But I'm glad that he seems motivated for this. He seemed to make it a point to like want to fight Mike Perry because Mike Perry has been doing big things. So I'm glad it's an opponent that he could be motivated to train for and beat. So I think what are the odds on this fight? Do you have them, or
I can pull them up?
I would assume it'd more or less be a pick 'em. Maybe Perry's a little favored, but
I think Nate's actually the favorite. Let me look.
It would make sense with Nate being more well. I mean, Perry is younger though. That's the only reason I wasn't sure who the favorite would be.
Well, this has got. Here we go.
The anticipation is killing me.
Nate's actually the dog at plus 165.
Yeah, I kind of get that because of the age and stuff. And Perry is also taking this very seriously. I mean, I think this win would almost mean more to Perry than it would to Nate.
Nate by decision's plus 500. I'm just go ahead and place a bet on that right now.
What's the over-under rounds?
Round betting. Let's look.
Because, yeah, I mean, I could
the fight to go the distance is plus 100. Total rounds 4.5. Minus 115 either way.
Yeah, so it's saying that we get to the 4th and 5th round. So,
yeah, I'll place a bet on Nate to buy a decision there.
Yeah, I mean, it's such like a 50-50 fight to me. I could literally see it going either way. I probably would. I'd lean Perry probably, but at the same time, I'll give a love pick out, and it would just be great to see Nate at that moment. So give me Diaz.
Yeah, I'm riding Diaz. Maybe not. Maybe I'm picking with my heart here, but give me Nate Diaz and the Nate.
Good to do it one more time. Why not?
Right. Bobby, let's talk real quick. The UFC does have an event, and I've been hinting at it. I do think this is the most consequential fight of the weekend. It is Arnold Allen versus Melky Costa, two top featherweights this weekend going at it. Both of them are highly ranked. I can't. Let me look at the rankings.
Yeah, I think Arnold Allen is like 6 and Costa
7. Yeah, 7 and 12. So this is a big, big fight here.
Yeah.
Why you guys look like AJ and Mike Finch from MMA Experts? We appreciate it. Thanks, Tyler. Who you this is a big one. I mean, Allen's kind of on a skid a little bit. Costa obviously on the rise. Huge knockouts the last few times out.
Yeah, I mean, easily this is the most consequential fight on the weekend for MMA. I mean, like you said, a win for Melky would be huge. That would really be putting him up at the top of the division. He's on a 6-fight winning streak. I know it's kind of log jammed, but you almost make the argument that he could put himself in a title eliminator or something. And I'm glad that he's getting the main event showcase. As someone that always complains about the Apex, I really don't care that it's in the Apex this weekend. I'm just happy they gave our guy a main event. Thinks he absolutely deserves it. It's been on a hell of a run, with some flash KOs and everything. So, like, what is there not to like? The 4th and 5th round do make it interesting if Arnold Allen can defend. He is very good at dropping rounds and coming back from them. But especially like seeing where John Silva threw him off in certain things, I think I'm going to keep riding with Costa here. It is kind of weird seeing him being an underdog on a 6-fight winning streak, but with Arnold Allen's 5-round experience and him only losing to really good guys, I do understand the line, but give me Melky Costa on this all day.
Yeah, Arnold's lost 3 out of his last 5 in all, you know, his last 4 fights, 5 fights, I have to take there. 4 fights have been by decision. Lost the unanimous decision to John Silva, won by unanimous decision against Chiga, lost unanimous decision against Mozart, lost unanimous decision against Max Holloway. It's good to see him like Arnold fighting again this year, because remember he missed all of 25 and then he fought in fought in January. So to kind of get some momentum, I really want Arnold to win because like I think he needs it more. And I really like both these guys. Arnold's a great, just overall great fighter. But I think I'm kind of with you. I'm gonna pick Costa, and I'm gonna pick Costa by decision. I think it goes 5. Arnold's too smart and too good not to put himself in some danger.
Yeah, and it's like Van Tyra. Like, I didn't want either of those guys to lose, even though I was rooting for Joshua Van. Yeah. I feel the exact same way about this. I want Milky to win, but I don't really want to see Arnold Allen lose. But that ain't the game we're playing. So, unfortunately, someone has to lose.
Some other notable names. Malcolm Wellmaker makes his return. Remember, after that loss to Ewing in November, we haven't seen him since. He's taking on Juan Diaz.
Yeah, Juan Diaz is coming off a pretty electric knockout on the Contender. I love this matchmaking. Like, this is in no way a gimme back fight for Wellmaker. He's definitely going to be on his P's and Q's for this one. This should, if the main event isn't fight of the night, I probably got this one pegged for it. That co-main is pretty dope though too. So those top 3 fights I love. The rest I'm not mad at, but you know it's just another event.
Yeah, Bukakis versus Christian Edwards. The return of Chaos Williams. The guy, he had a run there for a little bit he was just straight knocking folks out. So he makes his return. So Cody Brundage versus Andre Petrosky on the card as well. So, a little bit of everything Saturday night.
Wouldn't shock me if we got a bunch of finishes on this card the way
yeah.
So it's definitely going to be entertaining, and it's worth tuning in. I find it comical that there are people that are actually trying to make a decision of to watch this or the Netflix, like you have to watch one or the other.
Watch both. Watch both.
I mean, I don't know. I'm tired of telling people what to do.
Bobby, any last and final thoughts? We got to. I'm sure you want to talk about the Wardley and Dubois fight.
Yeah. Shout out to Daniel Dubois. That fight was electric. Shout out to Pat Sabatini for also fighting during that fight, so I could focus a lot more on the Dubois fight. And man, Dubois got knocked down almost instantly in the first round. He got knocked down a few times in the fight, but he fought his way out multiple times and was winning the entire fight until he got him out of there. I love that fight. I hope they do Dubois versus Moses Utama next. I think that would be great to do at heavyweight, and I definitely think Moses deserves an opportunity like that. So yeah, that was great. And then I also wanted to give a quick shout out for the Ryzen card. Luis Gustavo. He's been with the promotion for 8 years, Brazilian Muay Thai guy. He KO'd Nazimov and won the lightweight title. And it was just such a cool moment to see. You really saw that title win mean a lot to him. Like, they put the belt around him. He hugged the promoter. When will you ever see that in the UFC? The answer is you never fucking will. But it was really cool to see the emotions go through him because the guy doesn't even speak English, but like he doesn't need to, because like his emotions told everything, and it was just a really great way to close out the night. So I just wanted to give him a quick shout out, because you could tell it was a title win that meant something to him.
Yeah, real quick, just was saw here. Nate Diaz went to his open workout, full clothes, like sweatpants, sweatshirt, smoking a joint, sunglasses on, shadow boxed, and then dipped out. Only Nate Diaz.
Well, what would they expect when they put it on the fucking Venice pier? Like, he was probably at one of the fucking clubs on the Venice. Why did I call it the pier? What is wrong with me? But on Venice Beach, like,
yeah,
what? They're lucky he showed up. Obviously, he had to there are definitely things in that contract that not even a Diaz brother will blow off, because he's not trying to shit on that payday.
right.
But if you expected anything more, I saw a lot of people went out there. I'm sure they had a good time to see him. So, if you're excited for this event, absolutely, no shade. I'm going to watch it. I hope everyone enjoys it. We'll see what we get, and we'll break it down next weekend.
Yeah. Can't wait. We'll be back next week, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. What up, Srickland?
PC.
Came here straight from the clavicular stream. Hey, appreciate it.
Oh, God, no, he's trying to troll me with the clavicular. And shout out to PC, who had the weekend of his life.
I'm sure.
Going there. I'm just so glad you were able to appreciate that all live, brother. So, especially the stories after and stuff. I'm glad you got to enjoy that. So, hopefully you don't have to go to Abu Dhabi for the rematch.
Yeah, hopefully not. We'll be back next week, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Like, subscribe, share. A lot of combat to get into the weekend. For my guy Bobby Blunts, I'm Bodkins. Enjoy the fights. Have a great weekend.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.